Hey, and welcome back. So in the previous tutorial, I showed you how to uh, initialize the username into the Java code, not the username, but the data here, the variables into the Java code here so that you can start working with them. So let's now listen to the on-click of the register button. And it's really simple. Listen to register button, click, and then we want to sign up. Okay, let's listen to it first. Register button dot set on click listener. So we just listen to set on click listener. When a user clicks on it, we want to create that excuse me, the instance on click. We want to say, let's toast something. So I want to introduce you to now toast. So if you don't know what toast is that notification that appears on your device, Android device, mostly for a short period of time and then disappears. So this is a toast right here. As you can see, this one that says clicked is a toast. So this one is something that always appears within a short period of time and disappears. So we're going to see how to create that right now. So to do that, we just simply say toast dot make text, and then the first it takes three parameters. The first parameter is the context, which we're going to say this, or in this case, I'm going to say register activity that this, because the context, if you just say this, we're going to get an error because we are not. Let me actually show you that error that we're going to get. Because explaining it just like that wouldn't really be enough. So say this, and then I say success, like hi or something, and then toast dot length long dot show. And as you can see, we have an error here that cannot resolve the method because the context cannot be resolved since we're in a class, in a method here on click. So to be able to come back to the main context, we're just going to say register. We're going to call the class register activity dot this. And if I run the app, that little line, one line of code, we should be able to see that. Oh, one thing I forgot to do is now introduce you to something else called launches, intent launches. So it's in the manifest. So each activity whenever you create is included in the manifest automatically. And Android knows which activity to bring to the front via the launcher. So anytime I have this intent filter inside of an activity, that will make it be the one that will always launch by default when a user opens the app. So in this case, we want to make the register activity our default launcher. So let's just, you know what, I can cut this and copy, but I might as well just, change the username, change the names here, and it just brings the same effect. By making the register, it doesn't make it being any different. But of course, I'm going to change this. But for the test purposes, I'm going to leave it like that for now so that we have the register activity with the intent launcher in it. And when we do this, we will have the home page, the register activity show up now. All right. All right. So now let's click, because we set the toast here that when we click it, it should say hi. So let's click it. And it says hi. So that's pretty okay. I always like testing stuff like this. And I always like also using you should also try using the debugger or the logcat debug, so that you could get really detailed information about what your app is doing and how it's performing. In this case, we're just going to use toast. All right, so it's working pretty fine. Now we want when the user, so what do we want? What do we want to happen when this button is clicked? We want to be able that when the button is clicked, we want to be able to get the username, email, password, and then store it into our backend in parse.com. So how do we accomplish this? It's pretty simple. Parse offers a really, really detailed instruction here about how to sign up users. So here it is how to sign up. The first thing, and it's just found by going to parse.com, documentation, Android, and then users. Here at sign up, you get this. The first thing your app will do is probably ask the user to sign up. So of course, that's all apps. So we need the user to sign up. So to do that, this code is pretty handy. Parse user, we create a new user instance, and then it's going to create a user in parse, which is going to look something like this. And then set the username as the name of the person who's going to be entered, the password, set the email, and other information if you'd like, and then sign up in background, which is recommended like we spoke about earlier. So let's just copy this and then come to our want to listen to when the app is clicked to store the user who clicked it into the background. So let me just get rid of this extra code. We can just save in background like that, and I won't need to put cell phone number. But that little piece of code like that is just enough, but really not enough. It's going to give us an error because, as you can see, we're just going to store a user called with my name, username, and my password, and this is going to be the email. This is not the user that we're looking for. To store this user, we're going to have to get what they entered into the text boxes here, and then convert them into strings, and then store them here, and then put them in parse. Make sense? Perfect. So let's go ahead and do this. So the first thing we want to do here is get the user name, password, and email, and convert them to string. And then the next thing is store user in parse, or to parse, whichever makes sense. So I don't want to say let's toast anything here now. So get the username. To get the username, we're going to create a string, and we're going to call this username, and then we're going to say is equal to. So this username added text right here. We're going to say username dot get text. So we're getting the text from here, and then the username, and then dot to string. We are converting it into a string. So a string is a how do you explain a string? It's kind of a character representation in code. All right. So, and then I like adding dot trim. So dot trim, whenever I add it to my username, password, and email, kind of get rid of extra spaces, because sometimes users have spaces in their username. So yeah, kind of like, those extra spaces shouldn't really be a worry. They should just be, your app should be able to get rid of it. So trim is always important. And then we're going to copy this 3 times because we're going to need those 3 data. So username, password, and then the password is user password dot get text, the string, straightforward. And then here it's email, and username is user email dot get text to string, and then dot to trim it. And then now, since we have it as strings, we can now use the username, password, and email by saying set username, by saying is the username, set password is password, set email is email, okay. And then save in background, and then here we want to save it with a callback, like to tell us that successful sign up. So sign up callback, and then I always like to say, so it gives you a parse exception to it if there's any error. And then so we want to say if E equals to null, then user signed up successfully. Else there was an error. Signing up user advise user. So the user signed up successfully. So what do you want to do here when the user has signed up successfully? We want to kind of welcome the user with a toast message. So we want to say toast dot make text, and then we're going to say register activity dot this, and then a string here, success welcome, and then toast dot length long dot show. So one thing I'm not really doing here is one of the most recommended thing as far as strings is concerned. A string like this should be in a string resource folder here, so for localization. And I'm not going to be doing it in this tutorial because I just want to show you how you can do it, but I'll be giving you notes, important notes about how to go about doing this. So make sure you check the notes section. All right, so success welcome the user. And then now we want to take the user to the home page to view or post statuses, right? So we say, now I want to introduce you now something called intent. Now intent is what we will be talking about in the next video. So in this case, let me just right here, take user home page after, right? So if it's successful, welcome the user and then take him to the home page. So let's run this right now, but we cannot take the user to the home page because we haven't used the intent, and we're going to be looking at that in the next video. So let's run this app right now and see if we have any user in the back end with the username that we're going to create. And there we have our app. So let's check our back end first of all, if there's any code, any data. And again, I hate this. I just want to get rid of this. Test object. Good, finally. All right, so now there's no users, right? So let's go ahead and create a user. Let's sign up. So I'm going to say Ronnie, and then I'm going to say RonnieKibet1@gmail.com, and the password is I'm going to say Ronnie. Let's sign up, and then success welcome. And then if we refresh our backend, look, we have a user. So great. And it's pretty straightforward. Username is Ronnie. Email RonnieKibet1, created at, updated at, and everything. So in the next video, we're going to talk about intent, that when the user successfully logged in, we can take the user to the homepage. Actually, before, let me see if we have enough time. 14. So I will do this in the next video. I will be showing you how to handle the errors that if the user tries to sign up again, like for example right now, which of course Parse wouldn't sign up the user because that's an error, because the username and the email is already taken. So if I refresh, there's no user. It's just the same user that as before. But if I change this data, that's when I can be able to see a user. So if I put this back to Ronnie, still I wouldn't see any user. I wouldn't see any success notification. But if I change it to Ron or something else, I would see success. And if I refresh it, I have two users, Ron and Ronnie.